platform. Today we're joined by Rochelle Culbreath, who's running for state representative in Pennsylvania. Rochelle, thank you so much for being on with us.
Thank you for having me here tonight.
It's really our pleasure. We hear about so many different campaigns. But we've been reading up on your story in Pennsylvania. It seems like you're running for a brand new district that has just formed over your childhood home and townships and fellowships where you have also been council president. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how that all came about?
Yeah, so I'm Rochelle Culbreath. I'm running for the brand new House seat that was created after the recent census. It consists of Norristown, Plymouth, and Conshohocken. One's a borough, one's a township, and one is a municipality. So they're all governed very differently. The good thing is that I was a council president in Norristown for 2 terms. And Norristown started out as a borough, and then it became a municipality. So I've been able to govern both kinds of governments when I was a councilwoman. So when I was a councilwoman, Norristown was run by a strong mayor, and we had some things take place, and we changed the charter. So now Norristown is home rule charter run, and it's run by strong council, and the mayor's seat was removed. And at that time, what happened is when I took office, Norristown almost filed for bankruptcy, which is Act 7 for a town. It was completely out of money, and it was about to go into receivership. So I was able to successfully work with the 7 members of council, and we stopped the bankruptcy for the municipality of Norristown, and we made it solvent again and restored its health. So that's one of the highlights of the time that I was on council. But the seat that we're speaking of, the new House seat 54, it consists of those 3 areas, and it was created because of the influx of Latinos and Hispanics. So I've been working very hard to engage the Latino community, and I've been meeting with every member group of the Latino community to get their understanding of what this new district needs, since it was created because of the influx of that population. And they are just stunned to have anyone to even ask them their opinion or whether or not things that they want or things that they're interested in. And so I've been able to take notes on that, and I look forward to May 17th being able to promise some things to be able to support that population. But Norristown and Plymouth and Conshohocken, very diverse, very different. Norristown is very urban. Norristown and Conshohocken are river towns. So they're 2 towns on the river. And Plymouth is like right in the center, away from everything. Big box town. Norristown has a main street, and so does Conshohocken. But Plymouth doesn't even have a main street. So it's pretty, like their issues are infrastructure. Their issues are environment. Norristown's issues are jobs. Norristown's issues are healthcare and taxes and lack of tax base. Conshohocken's issues is enormous growth. This place is getting 4,000 new people a year. And it's young families, very growing area.
Amazing. I mean, reading up on a little bit of what you're writing on, you mentioned healthcare. It seems like in 2005, in the midst of all this, you started a campaign to save our hospitals.
Oh yeah, the Save Our Hospital campaign. So that was created. We had one hospital in Norristown that had it housed at least 400 of our residents worked in that hospital. And so when it decided to close because its emergency room was being stressed because we had a significant amount of Latinos and Hispanics that had moved into to Norristown and did not have access to healthcare. And so and it was also the extraordinary costs of having children. So the maternity care ward was just it went bankrupt, and the hospital could not sustain itself. So I did not think that it should close based on that. I think that my purpose of trying to save it was to create more programs around infant mortality rates and create more programs around maternal care and around prenatal care. Instead of moving the hospital far away from where people could not get access to it, let's just put the programming and the services in there that so that this population that lives here, there are people that live here, so let's address and accommodate them the same way as we would do anyone else, and put in the services that they need. So that did not happen. I was not successful. I had signs around the town. I had 5,000 signatures to try to save our hospital from leaving, and it was not successful. The hospital moved, and but they promised me 300 jobs, but I was not able to get 300 individuals that could. The technology at the hospital exceeds the skill set that I had at the time.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it
In my
seems like
town.
it's a very challenging task to try to bring together the necessary parts. Sometimes, but it seems like you're still taking on pretty like the right fights in terms of equity. I see that you're the only candidate that's opposed to charter school expansion in the race as well. So do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I'm not anti-charter, but I am anti-expansion of charter schools unless they begin to be accountable. I'm about accountability. My campaign slogan has to do with being honest and integrity and experience, and that also includes transparency and it includes accountability. And I just have driven my life that way. And I feel like if I give you $10 million out of my budget, you have to tell me what you're spending it on. You have to share with me the details of how that money is being spent. I have to know that I'm being fiscally responsible to the taxpayers in this community that give us that money, and then we in turn give it to another entity. You just need to find out what we're using that money for, and be accountable and responsible to it. Let us know what your budget is. Do you add more members of the community to your boards? Just operate as a public school if you say you're a public school. My daughter, full disclosure, my daughter went to a charter school here in Pennsylvania, and I didn't really understand the structure of the boards or things like that then. So, it's just make sure you continue to educate yourself.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that there's a real yearning for that kind of self accountability and transparency, and I think that that's really the baseline. That that this progressive policies that we see that you're writing on that that are centered around, and on that note, it seems like your camp the race is coming up right around the corner. It's just
16
a few
days.
weeks, right? It's a few days, like a few weeks, right? 2 weeks.
16 days.
16 days. How is that going, and how can people get involved?
Yeah, so it's going really well. I spend the most of my time on doors. I'm knocking on doors in both all three of the communities. I've met some amazing people. Just been in some really interesting neighborhoods and learning a lot about things that people care about, learning a lot about the things that people are interested in seeing in their communities. And people can get involved by going to my website. It's Vote Rochelle 4pa.org.com. I'm sorry. It's Vote Rochelle 4pa.com. And you can scan on my website. You can scan the detailed platform is there. Everything about education, everything about my healthcare platform, my public education platform, my jobs platform. I spent over a decade on workforce investment here in the county. I do a lot of work with homeless and vulnerable population issues related to what happened in the pandemic and affordable housing and the lack of it. But you'll read all of that, all of my infrastructure work, and all the things that I've been doing over the years and want to continue as your state representative here in the 54th district.
Awesome. Again, we have the website shown in the crawler underneath. We also are encouraging people to check out your other social media. That will be linked up on our page once we start posting this. Rochelle, thank you again so much for taking the time to be here with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity.
Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.